We'll start with the first game, of course, Curzon Ashton, and a very comfortable win.
Yeah, I think so. I think Curzon started quite brightly first 10 minutes, and they sort of stretched us a little bit. They played some nice stuff, moved the ball well, but I think once we got to grips with the movement, the rotation, and the objectives of their possession, then I think we controlled the rest of the game and looked fairly comfortable. We had to work for it, don't get me wrong, but I think we did look fairly comfortable in our shape and in our objectives when we had the ball.
Of course, Diaz Arue with a brace, one a little bit fortunate, the other a really nice finish.
Yeah, I'd argue that it wasn't that fortunate either. I think he worked hard to get in the position and to finish it. Really, I know there was a ricochet involved, but I think as a striker, he's done everything he can do to make sure he's in the right place, and he gets the final touch. And then the second one created by Jack Senior, who was excellent today, and I think he deserved the accolade of having an assist.
And of course, could have had more on another day, hitting the post on occasion and rarely looking under pressure.
That's right. I think we had some good work up to the final third and up to the box, and maybe some of the work this week will be just around finishing those attacks and making sure that we make the most of those opportunities, because on another day we might have scored more.
And now looking at the Colne game, a slightly disappointing result, but plenty of positives.
But yeah, disappointing. The disappointing thing is the manner in which we conceded the goals. The first one comes from an individual error, which was unnecessary, and the second one a set piece, which should have been defended better, and the lads know that. But the thing I need to acknowledge and recognise is the credit the boys deserve for the effort and application they've put in on a very difficult surface. They've tried to play the way we want to play. They've worked hard at possession, and the lads have come away frustrated, not just with the result, but at the difficulty they've had in trying to play on the surface. But I've got to give them credit for their effort and application, and for continuing right through to the 90th minute to make sure that they were competitive throughout.
And of course, good to see Rob Harker getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, Rob had a fantastic game. I think you could see clearly he was lacking in match fitness towards the end. I think that, once we hit the sort of 55, 60 minute mark, there was no lack of endeavour and effort from him, but certainly we just saw him tire at that stage. But up until that point, he was a great focus for our possession. He was a good focus for our attacks, and the finish was something a bit special, I think.
And of course, the big news today is the signing of Tom Clark. How did that happen?
Well, it's been in the offing for some time. There's been quite a lot of discussions over recent, last couple of weeks at least. It was a loose conversation that I'd had with Nathan Clark, originally Tom's brother. And Nathan just floated the idea that if it were a possibility that we could attract Tom over from Fleetwood, would we be interested? And of course, we'd be insane not to say yes. There's the obvious ability that he brings as a footballer, the obvious ability that he brings in terms of his leadership qualities and his experience, the obvious things that he brings around being able to help bring on the younger players and show them, much as the likes of Luke Summerfield do, how to be a top pro, and then also the lovely sort of romantic notion of him coming and playing for his hometown club, which I know has been a desire of Tom's, and is certainly something that we want, a good, honest local pros who are proud to represent the club. So as soon as Nathan floated the idea, I was very keen, along with other people at the club, to make sure that we did everything we could to make it happen.
And of course, now that's pre-season friendlies done and out of the way. Looking ahead next week, start of the season. How are you feeling?
Good. We're in a good place. The boys, we've got a good level of fitness. The staff who've managed the physical preparation of the lads have got them to a point where they're covering the distances we need them to cover. They're managing to cover the sprint distances and the number of accelerations we want to see in games, and they're doing all of that with no injuries, no soft tissue injuries there within the group, which is quite unique really at this stage of pre-season. I think you'd be hard pressed to find another squad in and around our level who haven't got one or two injuries to deal with. We've obviously got Keane Spence still returning from from an injury that he sustained towards the end of last season. But other than that, we should be going into the Barnet game with every member of the squad other than Keane available for selection.
That's good to hear, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, it's what we've all been building up to, and I think the lads will feel that they're in a good place in terms of their preparation. We're starting to build some of those connections. We've got more work to do around our final third work and finishing off more of the chances that we create. And we've got to try and work hard to build those connections and those partnerships between the new players. But couldn't ask to be any further on than we already are. We're very pleased as a staff as to where the boys have got themselves to with the help of the backroom staff at this point of pre-season.